Hello and welcome to the Infectious Groove podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded at the 33 1/3 Music Appreciation Center in Speakeasy, located just outside of Detroit, Michigan. The Infectious Groove podcast is your source for jammy jams, music news, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome to the Infectious Groove podcast. My name is Russ, and along with me is Kyle and Michelle, as always. And I could be wrong, Michelle. I don't know if you have the counter on this, but is this the earliest in the morning we've ever recorded?
By far.
By far. But Kyle, can you back that up?
Yeah, I do believe it is.
Okay, so we're not, like, if you're used to usual, Michelle, this might even be either a step down or a step way above. If you had to guess, Michelle, what would you promise people they're going to get during this episode?
We're about to find out together.
Sweet. Sweet. As we always do, and this might be entirely too much to ask, Michelle, do you have any idea what we talked about last week? I don't know why, but this never gets old for me.
It wasn't an album.
That's correct. It was not an album.
It was song lyrics and songs and the meanings and the whatnot.
It was, in fact, misheard lyrics and misunderstood songs. That was such a great way to recap, Michelle. So, as always, we have feedback from the listeners, so here we go.
Feedback, Joe.
Don't worry about that. Right. There's rock and roll be without feedback.
I made the mistake this week of asking basically anybody on Twitter, like, hey, what are some misheard lyrics and misunderstood songs? And boy, did people reply. So I thought I would share some with y'all now.
I can't wait.
The Beard Owl podcast writes in and says, for me, my go-to is always the Authority song by John Mellencamp. And I sing I Fight with Dorothy and Dorothy Always Wins. So I'm not sure what Dorothy did, but there's a fight brewing. Mark Williams used our website. I always say you can go to infectiousgroovepodcast.com and just shoot us a message right through there. So listener Mark says, I've got feedback on this episode. It's a great podcast as always. There are a ton of songs I never realized that I don't actually know the lyrics to until another artist covers the song. Then all of a sudden the lyric, the original mumbled when singing, becomes clear and the verse takes on a whole new meaning. AC/DC in the Brian Johnson era has a bunch of songs that I couldn't write the lyrics down to, but when I got Thunderbolt, the tribute to AC/DC album, I understood many of the songs for the first time. P.S. All Pearl Jam albums have to come with lyrics sheets, state law. But you know what? Mark brings up a really interesting point that I didn't even think about. I've totally done that, where someone has covered a song and I've been like, oh, that's what they were saying.
100%. Yeah. Or if you see them live.
Yeah.
I feel like seeing them live. I've had many a mind-blowing experience being like, that's what the lyrics are?
Like, oh man, this is not even about what I thought it was. Shit, I shouldn't have bought these tickets. I don't even like this song. The Thanks for Coming podcast weighs in and says, it always entertains me when Michelle confuses Pearl Jam and REM and Russ gets genuinely pissed off. I can't help but laugh out loud. It was a great podcast just for that moment. And last night, Michelle, I was out with friends and brought that up, that someone, a friend of mine's wife actually said, like, so I listened to the show and is she joking about not knowing the difference between Pearl Jam and REM? Because you got really mad. And I just was like, nope. Yeah, Kyle, that was exactly my response. Nope.
I know that they sound different. I just don't know which one is which.
I don't understand. Damn it. Never mind. The Ever Trending Story podcast weighs in and says, you guys had a lovely new episode. I'm not sure if I missed it on first listen, but it always blows my mind how many people think the song Hallelujah is a religious song. Like the fact that Pentatonics put it on a Christmas album. Yikes. I totally agree with that. And there are tons of songs like that people take way out of context to fit their personal needs, you know. This is a good one. I don't believe we've ever received feedback from this show. There's a show called Scottish Murders that said, my husband thinks that Amy Winehouse song Valerie, she says, when she says, come on over that way, he thinks she says, come on over that way instead of come on over Valerie. And he insists that that's what she's actually saying, despite the song title. That's a move you would pull, Michelle. Like, I would be like, yeah, but the name of the song is this. And you'd be like, no, that's not what she's saying.
I've been fooled before.
Right. Pat Riley out of Minneapolis says that he was listening to our episode and came across a meme that he wanted to share with us. And the meme is a picture of Alanis Morissette standing next to a cross-eyed bear. and it says it's not fair to deny me of the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. So
That's a good one.
the Not Before Coffee podcast shares with us that the machines are listening to all of us because they listened to our episode this week, and then the next morning they sent us a screenshot of the first thing Amazon recommended to them to listen to for the day was a playlist Amazon had made of the most misheard lyrics ever.
The robots.
Yeah, so the robots are in on it with us. We had another listener say that the biggest one for them that they always hear is Blinded by the Light, where a lot of people think it says Blinded by the Light wrapped up like a douche in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I used to think that, man.
Yeah.
The actual lyrics still don't make sense.
No, I agree. We had another one, and Michelle, this is one of your favorite songs of all time, Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yep.
It says, a friend of mine for years told me that when he was a kid, he would sing Pour Some Sugar on Me as Awesome Jupiter A.
What?
What?
And again, if you look at the lyrics of Pour Some Sugar on Me, the whole song is gibberish. So, sure, that could work. Like, those lyrics don't make any less sense than Pour Some Sugar on Me does.
God.
But what they said was, I still sing those lyrics along with it every day. Which, you know, I might even throw that in myself next time I hear that song. Aaron from the I Had to Say It podcast says that one of my favorites is that my kid was about 6 or 7 riding his bike down the front road of our house and belting out Dirty Deeds Done with Sheep. He says,
that's the best one yet.
I'm sure at the time he had no idea what he was saying, but I was in tears.
Yeah, that's the best one I've heard so far.
I don't think legally you're allowed to do dirty deeds with sheep. So
Depends on what state you're in.
yeah.
I think it depends on where you live.
Yeah. It's really all got to do with your geography.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all know this song, but there's an old song from the 80s in a band called Till Tuesday, and the song's called Voices Carry. Dave from the Beer in Front podcast writes in and says, I always thought Till Tuesday was singing We're So Scary in the chorus instead of Voices Carry until I bought the cassette, and it made a lot more sense after that.
Same, actually. I just learned that, I don't know, like a couple months ago.
Oh, I swear to God, I thought you were going to be like, I just learned that just now.
No. I don't know why I looked at the lyrics for that recently. That was mind blown.
That is odd. Oh, well, maybe it was. I bet it came out in 84.
Oh yeah, that's probably it was on an 84 playlist, and I was like, that can't be the worst.
Like, why would you sing about that, of all things? Kelly Madden writes in and says, I used to date a complete dumbass who thought for those about to rock
The end.
Yeah. And thanks for that feedback, Kelly. I used to date a complete dumbass who thought the lyrics for Those About to Rock by AC/DC were The Boys About to Rock with Some New Tunes. Which again, like, I don't know, probably not lying, you know?
That makes sense.
That would have been their new album at the time. I always have to give a shout out to Anthony, who, as you know, is Anthony's Taylor's version, which I love. He says the most common one for me actually is a Taylor Swift song, Blank Space. I cannot hear that song without hearing Got a Long List of Starbucks Lovers. Which is one that, like, I'll hear that forever now.
Yeah.
And of course, he, like many others, Anthony said he just sings that instead. So last piece of feedback, and this is another listener, Dayton, who went to infectiousgroovepodcast.com and just sent us a message directly through there. Said, I absolutely love the misunderstood lyrics episode. There are so many songs when I misunderstood the lyrics or flat out had no idea. The first one that came to mind is Elton John's Benny and the Jets. There's 2 lines that I got right, and the rest is way off. She's got electric boots and a mohair suit. How am I supposed to know what a mohair suit is?
What is a mohair suit?
I knew you were going to ask that, and I didn't look it up. Like, I know it's some sort of high fashion thing from the 70s. I do know that. But I knew it was when I read that feedback, I was like, she's going to ask what a mohair suit is.
And then you didn't look it up.
And then I didn't look it up. But that sounds like homework for you for next week, though.
Oh, man. I already have to do other homework.
I know. We'll
report back.
Yeah, yes, please. On to feedback for Michelle.
Oh, God.
Once again, she's shown us that she is being sneaky and learning and remembering information. Michelle knowing that many things might just be a sign of the apocalypse. Michelle is great, ?
Oh, no.
Thanks for the playlist. Because of Take a Bow, I went back and listened to the Madonna album, Bedtime Stories. I'd forgotten how good that record is. Thank you once again for always being the best part of my Mondays. So thank you, Dayton. I know, Kyle, we talked about this, and this, you always say this, but like, it's true that it blows your mind that like people look forward to, and then we are the best part of their Monday, you know?
Yeah. It still sounds strange when people say that.
Yeah,
That can't be true.
Well, once again, Michelle, I feel the need to gesture to. I'm talking we, Kyle and I, are the best part of people's Monday. And then
I'm just saying there was no Russ or Kyle feedback this week.
That's
so.
yeah. That. Jeez.
Awkward.
That is awkward. And you know what? What a great time to move right along.
Our jammies.
Two things for me. Number one, okay, so I watched the Grammys on Sunday, which is, that's a poor life choice. And I spent most of the show doing what you do when you watch the Grammys as of late, which is just judging the hell out of it and not liking anything and spending a lot of time with nominees going, who? Like when there's, and the record of the year is, and the so-and-so with this, who? And then like repeating that process. And then of course, me being me, listen, it took, 30 people to write that song, so I was being super judgy, but something great happened out of the Grammys. There was an artist I had never heard of, named Jon Batiste, who did performed a song off of his record called Freedom. And I had never heard of him and I'd never heard the song, but the performance was, in my opinion, was hands down the best song that was performed of the whole Grammys. And I was already I had already made a note and was like, shit, I need to look into this guy. I've never even heard of him or anything, but I love that song. So I should look at the rest of the record. And then he went on to win Album of the Year by the end of the night, and I was like,
I'm just learning this as well.
Yeah, and I literally was like,
Album of the Year.
And I literally was like, well, apparently I need to look into this record, And then on top of that, he got up and his acceptance speech was like so genuine and sweet and like really good message, and I just really was like, God damn, I need to know about this guy. So he has a record called We Are, and I looked into it, and it's absolutely album of the year. It's a really good record. It's a lot of R&B. It's a lot of soul. It's a lot of rap. There's even some, not a lot, but a little bit of rock influence here. And I just really love that record. So I'll be putting some songs from the playlist on there. I thought it was super classy that Billie Eilish was up for Happier Than Ever, which the three of us agree is a fantastic record. And when she lost, she was going like ape shit, applauding for Jon Batiste's win, which I thought was awesome. Like a classy move.
That is classy.
Yeah. And then the other thing, and I won't go into a ton of detail about it, but Jack White did release a new record this past Friday. It's called Fear of the Dawn. And if you've listened to the show, and I know Kyle and Michelle, you've had to deal with me going on about this, I'm a huge White Stripes fan. I was a huge fan of Jack White's first two records. And then his third album is one of the worst things I've ever spent money on in my entire life. It is. Oh, no. His third album is absolutely god-awful. Like, it is... Like, I'm still mad that I bought it, and I bought it like 5 years ago, and I'm still mad that I paid money for that record. I listened to it a total of maybe twice since I've owned it, and it's awful. So this record, I went into not really knowing what to expect, and I heard a couple of singles, and I liked what I heard, but I also liked the single off the last record. So I was like, not going to get me again with this, So anyways, I listened to the entire record at least 2 or 3 times in the last couple of days, and I'm happy to report that he is back on track in my eyes. And I'm sure this is a relief to Jack. Like, he's probably waiting to hear my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
I would imagine. But for me, I love the album. It's absolutely what I was hoping for. It is a progression. It's not, I don't want him just to make the same album over and over. It is a progression, but it's not as far out as the third one was. I think there's a lot of better ideas that he started with as a foundation. So it's just a great record. I like it a lot. And actually, he has another album coming out either next month or the month after. He was going to put 2 full albums out on the same day, but because of the backup at Vinyl Plants, he was unable to release both on vinyl on the same day, so he's just releasing them a couple of months apart. But the first one that came out, Fear of the Dawn, is a very, very rockin' album, and apparently the album that's forthcoming is kind of a companion piece that's like more acoustic and subtle. So that'll be interesting as well. So for me, 2 wildly different things, but one thing that I got turned on to completely out of nowhere that I loved. So that's what I've been listening to. Kyle, what have you been listening to?
It has been all rap again this week. Oh, that's actually a lie. I was been listening to some City and Color too, but I know Nego has been on heavy rotation still, which I mentioned, I think twice now already.
At least a couple of weeks ago, you talked about it and told us a little bit about the project.
And if anyone's listened to it, it's not like Nego's not rapping. It's just a compilation of like all these rappers that he knows from being in the clothing industry and whatnot.
But it's good enough to where it's still carrying you through like weeks, right?
Yes. Juice WRLD, who I'm not even really a huge fan of, but he, if you want to learn about him and you want to come away really sad about what happened with him, there's a documentary on HBO that follows him around, and it just shows the behind the scenes of what he was dealing with before he passed away. I
always feel conflicted about those, man, because like if you watch that one about Shannon Hoon, all I can say, you end up with what you're talking about. You end up sitting there being like, boy, there sure was a shit ton of potential.
Yep. And anyone who's worked with him, like producers and whatnot, say that like he was super talented and he had a really, really bad drug problem that he couldn't get away from, and it took him. But the new album, he just put out a new album, and it's called Fighting Demons. And I don't know if that title existed before he passed away, because this came out after he died. But the entire album is very much about his struggles with drugs and the industry and being famous and the whole 9 yards. And it's sad to listen to, and you can definitely hear the potential that was there.
I don't want to get overly heavy, but do you ever get the feeling like when that stuff happens, like, I don't want to derail too much, but like when you look at Alice in Chains material, like the more it progresses, the more you can look at it now and be like, wow, Lane was telling all of us as clearly and as loudly as you can, that how things were going to end. Is it the same thing with with Juice WRLD? And don't you worry,
especially
though? Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
Well, don't you wish though that people would look at that and go, yes, this is tragic, but like I can learn something from this?
Yeah, totally. And so even in that documentary, man, he calls himself a junkie like on multiple occasions when he would just be super fucked up on whatever pills or whatever he was taking. And like he was telling everybody that he has a problem. He can't fix this problem by himself. He's famous, so he's just surrounded by all these enablers that like do whatever he wants all the time.
Yep.
His girlfriend,
enablers.
His girlfriend actually was trying to help the situation and was like hiding drugs and shit from him so he couldn't find them, and like she was trying to go about it the way that it's hard when you're in like a personal relationship with someone like that.
Yep.
She seemed to be trying, and then this album comes out. And it's very much, I'm sure all this was recorded during that period when he was like super struggling, and you can absolutely hear it, and he talks about it, and it's just, it's sad, man.
Well, definitely. And it's going to be funny, the contrast, not funny, but funny, the contrast to funny in an ironic way, that all those songs on that John Batiste album are so full of hope and positivity, and then it's going to be balanced out on the playlist by a lot of that, disparity.
Oh yeah, when you mentioned John Batiste, that dude is a badass, and he totally deserved to win Album of the Year.
Yeah, I have just found this information out that he's a badass and that he deserved Album of the Year. So yeah, I'm stoked. So okay, as usual, you'll put a smattering of tracks from those two records on the playlist this week. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's let me see. There's a bunch of songs on the Juice WRLD. I think there's like 23. So I think that they just unloaded all like a lot of the stuff that he had finished onto this album.
Right on.
But yeah, some of them will be on there.
So a lot of in-depth analysis from both Kyle and I. A lot of deep thoughts about what we've been listening to. Michelle, it's all on you now to carry that bucket of water.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Tell us about all the songs you've been listening to and all your in-depth analysis. And real quick, just as a special note for you, Michelle, and this is something I want to make sure you're clear on. We do this segment every single week. So just
every week I have to do this?
Yeah. So just so you know, for going forward, like every single week we're gonna do this segment. We're like 125 episodes in now, so I didn't know if you'd noticed the pattern.
Shit. Don't we do music news?
We used to do music news. Yes, we actually did away with that quite some time ago. Probably at a wild guess about 70 episodes ago. We did away with that.
What if I did music news and you did Jammy Jams?
What if you share what you've been listening to?
Okay, so this week I am still on that Maren Morris train. I cannot get off.
That's good.
It's my go-to track. It's my go-to album. It's been nonstop. But when that has not been on, it's been a lot of, I know you're going to be shocked, the Lone Bellow. I've just been spinning them nonstop this week. And then there's one single, and I mentioned this band a lot, Wild Rivers, and I just feel like I keep finding just like one-off songs, and I need to like invest in like buying their whole album and like sitting down and listening to it. But they did a song called Thinking About Love with Rabel. Is it Rabel? WRABEL. And that has been a jam this week as well.
Right. Wait, is that the group that sounds like the Lone Bellow?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Lone Bellow-esque.
Yes.
So I think that's probably that was a logical jump. From the
We need
Lone
to copyright that phrase before the Lone Bellow blows up, because
Lone Bellow-esque.
Yeah. That way, anytime in the future anyone uses that phrase, we'll get money from it.
How are you going to police that?
I don't. I'll find a way. I'll find a way.
So yeah, just the Lone Bellow, Maren Morrison, that Wild River song.
Right on. Cool. Well, yeah, I kind of figured the Lone Bellow would be a thing just because they have a good catalog of albums now. So it's easy to go from the one we're about to review all the way through the rest of their catalog. And obviously you like all of that. And then you have other stuff that's in that similar vein. It wouldn't surprise me if your Spotify was like, okay, she wants to hear this stuff for sure.
Yeah, which is like super annoying because like sometimes I don't want to hear more of the same. Like I would like to mix it up with like go straight to rap or something, but this week it worked.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Cool. All right. Well, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to do an album review in the second half of the episode, which is a Michelle pick. And as we alluded to, the album that she picked is by the Lone Bellow. It is called Then Came the Morning. We will get into that review in just a moment when we return. You're listening to the Infectious Groove podcast on the Odd Pods Media Network.
Hey, it's Dalton.
And Sam.
We want to tell you about our podcast called Big 10 Plus 4.
Are you a college football fan who doesn't want to always be talking about the SEC?
Are you a college basketball fan who's tired of hearing how the Big 10 doesn't win in the big dance?
Then we're the show for you. Check us out each week on the Odd Pods Media Network. We bring you college sports with a Big 10 flavor.
Big 10 Plus 4. College sports with Midwest perspective. Blue collar and blue blood.
Hey, you there. We've got a question for you. Are you tired of clickbait stories and the loudest voices driving discussions in culture and entertainment?
If so, I'm Dylan.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Corey. And we host the podcast From the Middle. We're middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle.
We take a more reasonable and centrist approach in our discussions covering genres like comedy, culture, entertainment, and interviews, with really interesting folks like business owners, comic creators, doctors, news anchors, New York Times best-selling illustrators, professional stand-up comics, and more. We really value a relaxed and conversational podcast, one that we hope is so fun and laid back, you'll forget you're not actually hanging out with us.
So search at From the Mid Pod, just like it sounds, or check us out everywhere you can find podcasts.
We are back. It's Ross, Kyle, and Michelle. And I took a little bit longer than usual to bring us out of the break because I realized I didn't have a very crucial part of the show loaded on the PC. And it is ready now because we are going to do an album review. So here we go.
The Infectious Groove podcast.
Album review.
Oh, I'm sure I'll say something dumb.
See, I didn't have that loaded, and I needed to make sure that was ready to go.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
Yeah, especially since it's your album that we're reviewing, Michelle. We are going to review the sophomore effort from the Lone Bellow, and the record is called Then Came the Morning. This album was released on January 27th, 2015, which for me seems like a lifetime ago and seems like the album just came out yesterday. Which is very odd. But as we do, we always have the person who picked the album tell us why. Michelle, why are we reviewing the second effort from the Lone Bellow?
So I know that if you've listened to the show before, we talk about the Lone Bellow quite often. And we're kind of like, for a while, we were following them around the country and going to see them live because they're mind-blowing in live. And their first album does not convey that accurately.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way for me to truly enjoy them for a long time when we first discovered them was to see them live. Like just the first album, and I like the songs on it, but it's nothing compared to seeing them live. So I was so excited when this album came out that it was like one step closer. Like it was leaps and bounds better than their debut album. And the songwriting on this album I think is stellar. I think this really kicked off their trajectory for where they are right now. Mm-hmm. And I can't say enough good things about this record.
Yeah, me too. And I will say exactly the same thing. I remember you and I, when the first record came out, I've never talked more about a band and then told people openly not to listen to the album.
Yeah, don't buy this record.
Yeah, because they were just the songs on the first record are fantastic, but it in no way conveys how good they are or the feeling they put into anything. And I feel, I think that you just said either exactly this or something close to it. The second record, in my opinion, is as close to what they really sound like, not just audio quality, like production wise, but feeling and everything.
Yes.
To me, it's as close to seeing them. Like, I would tell people all day, every day to buy this album as an example of how good they are, which I wouldn't with the first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is probably where I tell people to start.
Yeah.
If their Lone Bellow journey on this record.
Yeah.
So.
And it's such a bummer because I love the songs on the first album, but they're
for sure.
It's just not, and all day long I will take them in concert, but that first LP.
If they did the entire first LP in concert, I would go see that just front to back. But just the actual record is just.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So having said that, we always go through everything bit by bit, talk about our favorite tracks on the album, talk about if there are any stinkers, and open discussion in general on the record. And I think we usually do this. So Michelle, for you, since you picked the album, what are your favorite tracks on the record?
So I have several. And I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but every time I listen to it, I feel like I get different favorite tracks and different tracks that I skip over.
For me, what happens, and I think this is what you're talking about, but I will listen to the record, this particular album I will listen to, and then I'll get to a song and be like, oh, this is by far my favorite song. And then the next song starts and I'm like, no, wait a minute. It's this one.
Yeah. And then I think it depends on my mood too. Like sometimes this record has a lot of bangers on it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some bangers on it, and then there's some songs on here that are really sullen and downtrodden and heart-wrenching. And so I feel like it depends on what mood I'm listening to this album in. And I found myself listening to this album several times this week, and every time I was like, okay, I think I have my favorite songs, and then the next time I'd be like, nope, that's wrong. And so
just real quick, I'm sure you're going to mention this as one of your favorites, and I don't know if you remember this story. Do you remember the week the album came out, what you said to me regarding one of the songs on the record? I know that's super vague, but you might remember this.
That they blew up my speakers?
Yep. Michelle's like driving along to work, streaming this album, and she texts me and she's like, I just blew my speakers in my car with Take My Love.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, sweet. Yep. Well, if you're going to do it, that's a great song to do it with.
Yep. So as it stands right now, as we're sitting here talking about this, I will tell you my jams from this record. Then Came the Morning. I just feel like I remember this experience vividly when this record came out shortly after I had to take a plane ride. And it was like one of those trips that you leave at dark, in the morning, like 5 a.m.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you're landing as the sun comes up. And I just happened to open my window shade as the record started for like the 20th time on this trip. And Then Came the Morning started, and I just had this I don't even know.
No, I know what you mean.
Or like this feeling that came over me. I got chills. And so every time I hear the song now, I just think of it wasn't even like that prolific of a trip. It wasn't like there was something, crazy happening, but just being on the plane, seeing the sun come up, and then the song came on was just like this amazing feeling.
It's one of those moments where you're like, am I living in a movie on accident? Like,
am I in a dream?
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so this song, whenever I just start this record, I'm instantly back on that plane. So Then Came the Morning, Fake Roses, Take My Love, Watch Over Us, Diners, Heaven Don't Call Me Home, If You Don't Love Me, Cold as It Is, I Let You Go. Literally all my jams, depending on the day, some more than others, but those are all of them.
Isn't that the whole album?
That's close. That's close.
It's close, but you'll notice that I left one in particular.
Yeah, when we get to stinkers, we're going to fight, and I've been preparing for that fight the entire week. So
put them up.
Yeah, get ready for it. And remember that we know the band, and when this episode comes out Monday morning, I'm going to text a member of the band and let him know that this is out. And I would assume that all three members of the band are going to listen to it. And I say all three because when we get to stinkers, we're going to discuss a song that you might want to be careful with your offensive language. So
I don't have... Just go on, man.
Yep. Kyle, what are your best tracks on the record?
I am much more new to the Lone Bellow train than you guys are, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I've only seen them live one time. And
it was a great show.
It was twice. Oh, no, you did. You didn't go there.
Nope.
It was a great show, though. And we got recognized from the show at that show, which was great.
Yeah. Not only did we get recognized from being on the podcast, but it was a fantastic show. it lived up to the hype that you guys were drumming up the entire time. And this, I totally agree that this album it's like I don't even know it's like a come to Jesus experience. Listening, like being at the show is literally like being at like church.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And this album conveys that wholeheartedly, and it is. I don't even have a favorite track. The entire record, I love.
Yeah,
the entire thing.
I did damn near the same thing Michelle did too. And in this order, I was reading them off for what I had: the title cut, "Fake Roses," "Take My Love," "Watch Over Us," "Diners," "Heaven Don't Call Me Home," and "Cold as It Is." So I think I was like a track or two shy of what Michelle had, and probably 3 or 4 shy of you, Kyle, since you're saying more or less the whole record. Yeah, this is a brilliant album all the way across the board, and there's just no two ways about it. We might as well get into the fight and put up our dukes. And actually, you know what? I'll throw a curveball here. Kyle, do you have any stinkers on this record? Because I feel like this is mostly going to become a fight between Michelle and I. But do you have anything on this record you would consider a stinker?
No, this is your guys' battle here.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoy this record, and I will say this too. This is the first time doing this album review. This is the first time that I've listened to this record all the way through, and then obviously multiple times. So I went in not knowing what to expect overall, but now that I've listened to it, it very much replicates what you see in person, and it's fantastic.
Let me ask you this: do you think that because you've seen them live now that you have a better appreciation for their music as a whole? Like if you had heard this album without seeing them live, you wouldn't feel as passionately about it?
I don't know. You've played multiple songs of theirs for me before I ever saw them live.
I know, but I'm saying now that you have, do you feel like, because you're like, I like this whole record front to back, it's great. Do you think that you get that because you've seen them live and you get that energy from it, or it's just a great album?
Especially this, both. Not only is it a great album, but I do have that connection now to. In my head, I can see this happening as I'm listening to it. And it definitely enhances the experience. I agree.
I totally get that. And for me personally, we'll get into this when we get into open discussion. I think anybody could listen to this record and fully get what the Lone Bellow does. But I mean, in every way, their live experience always enhances everything about them.
Accurate.
Let's just go ahead and fight, Michelle. Why don't you like Call to War, and why are you a bad person? It's a 2-part question. I would like you to answer both individually, please.
So when I first heard this record, Call to War was my stinker, and I'm not ashamed to call it a stinker. However,
that's upsetting, but go on.
The first time that we saw them live and they played Call to War, it changed my tune. Now, I enjoy Call to War live, not so much on the record, and I think it has to do with that feeling that you get when they perform it live. And I can't put my finger on it. I think just the song on the album is just missing something that je ne sais quoi.
what the French call a certain I don't know what.
But I completely changed my tune when I saw them perform it live, hands down.
I remember the first time that they did it live, because as soon as it was starting, I just gave you a death stare. Like, here it comes. Here comes this great song.
Yeah, and I'm probably reluctant to admit that I liked it live, but I'm here to tell you that I do like it live.
That you genuinely enjoy it live.
Yes, and I've moved away from calling it a stinker. It's just not my jam on the record. So other than that being a half stinker, I guess we can call it, I don't have any other stinkers on the record.
There's 2 things about this song for me that why I'm wildly in love with this song is, number one, and we're going to get into this when we get into open discussion, is it's placed perfectly in the track list. Like,
I can agree on that.
The song absolutely could not go anywhere else on the record other than where it is. That, and this is one of many songs on the record where I can see everything in the song. Like the song absolutely forms a scene in my mind. Fake Roses and Diners, I think, are 2 that do that the most for me on this record. But
Fake Roses for sure.
Oh yeah, like you can literally see that whole entire scene unfolding. And Call to War does that for me as well. Just the way that Kanine sings the song, it just easily sends my mind to where I can see everything that's being sung about in the song. So I'm glad to hear that you've moved away from calling it a stinker. That's forward progress.
That is.
Yeah. And I do get what you're saying. I mean, like any one of their songs, every single song, as good as, so you take something on this record like Heaven Don't Call Me Home, which by some miracle, the version on the studio version very much captures the vibe of them doing that song live, right? And even that, when they cut into that song live, you're just like, oh Jesus, here we go. You know, like it's even
Boots
better.
stomping.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's a hootenanny, if you will.
It is a hootenanny.
Kyle, would you say that when the one Lone Bellow show you went to, was it a hootenanny?
Yeah, it was definitely a hootenanny.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Moving into open discussion, Michelle, do you have any like overall points you want to bring? I know that you kicked off this by saying, you know, the reasons why you picked the record, but do you have any other like extra points that you want to go on about, you know, this particular album, or, you know, why anyone should listen to it?
I mean, I like you said, I said a lot of my points in the beginning, but if this at all, even a little bit piques your interest, I would
go forward in their discography and not go get the first one.
Well, no, I feel like the first one, their first debut album has some things that you can enjoy, but I would challenge you to see them live. And if this is even in the realm of things that you like to listen to, that live is where it's at, and that you should definitely go forward in their discography, and definitely check out their first record. And I don't have enough good things to say about this band or this album in general, but I'm just saying, if you think that if any one song on this record has, you know, piques your interest, then there's so much more that this band does that you'll like. Oh no, yeah, I totally agree. And Kyle, with your, like, I know this is, you know, I'm not saying this to be funny, but like you are, like you said, more limited with the band, you know, as opposed to like, I don't even know, Michelle, I think we're up to 20 sometimes having seen this band live. I think we're like real close. We're like knocking on 20's door. Yeah. So for you, Kyle, like, what do you think about this? Do you feel the same way, that this is, from what you know of the Lone Bellow, like if anyone likes anything in particular on this record, then they should just consider themselves a fan of the band? Or do you think that maybe this is even a cut above anything else they've done? Like, from your perspective, what do you think? If you hear anything on here that you like, you should continue to dig into the other stuff that they put out, because and if you want to see one of the best live shows that you've seen to date, ever, you'll go to one of their concerts. Yes. Yeah, I agree. And you should jump on the fucking train now, because you know, the shows are smaller still, a little bit more intimate, and they're not going to be like that forever. Yeah, not only are they about to get the Infectious Groove podcast bump, but I have to assume that even though Michelle picked this record, I have to assume so far what you've said about the record is going to end up in this being a Kyle bump as well, which, as we know, is huge for all artists. I mean, look at The Weeknd. You know, he was a little known artist, and then you started talking about him, and now he's, you know, he did the Super Bowl, you know. Damn right. So I just looked on Spotify, and according to Spotify, they're just shy of 500,000 monthly listeners. Yeah, and I feel like Michelle and I are responsible for, like, I don't know, conservative effort, 250,000 of those listeners. I would say that we've done the Lord's work, and we've preached them a lot. Oh yeah. And I don't know what metrics go into how they measure that, but I mean, damn, that's almost 500,000 monthly people are listening to you on a regular basis, and that's fucking fantastic. Yeah, then you're doing something absolutely correct. Yes, and it might take it's taken a while to catch on or whatever, they're going on tour with Maren Morris, so I feel like it's catching on, and people are realizing that just how badass these guys are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maren Morris, Lake Street Dive. They've toured with Brandi Carlile in the past. They are always prominently featured on a lot of great festivals and whatnot. So yeah, to your point, Kyle, I absolutely, like, this is a thing that's gaining steam, and it's just fantastic. My overall thoughts on the record are some things that we've already discussed, that but I just want to mention, kind of all buttoned up in one point. First of all, I think this is a perfect sophomore album. Like, for me, what your sophomore record is supposed to do is take what you did well on the first record, enhance it, and go in some new directions, kind of expand your footprint. Absolutely. Okay. And this record it does everything I just said. Like, it absolutely it takes everything further from the first record, even just from the production that we labored the point on earlier. But the songwriting is a huge growth between the first and second records. Mm-hmm. I think this album is a master class, and you guys know I labor this point all the time, but track listing matters so much. And this record is a master class in how you sequence an album to where every single song complements the one before it and the one that's going to come after it.
Okay.
I agree.
And I'll give you a couple examples of that. So you take songs like Telluride and To the Woods. If you were to put those songs anywhere else on this record other than where they are, they wouldn't fit. And when those songs start in the running order of the record, it is absolutely a natural progression for me for what's coming next.
No, I agree.
This is by far my favorite album of theirs. I don't dislike anything that they've ever done, but this is far and away my favorite one. And I'm so glad you picked this for an album review, because we do have a lot of listeners who always say whether they knew the album, they go and revisit it before or after they listen to our review, or if they've never heard the album, they're excited about music that's new to them. This is the album that I use to hook anybody into the Lone Bellow.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the album that I use to speak to people about the cult.
This album is very much the complete package from them, and everything from the album artwork to the title of the record to, like you were saying, how it's structured. Like, they 100%, or you 100% listening to it can tell that this was orchestrated by people who give a shit about what they do.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So this is probably a foregone conclusion, but we always ask this question: would you buy this record? Yes, I have bought this record on, at least the only format I've ever bought it on is vinyl, but I've bought more than a few copies of it for myself and other people. Michelle, I'm 90% sure you at least own this on vinyl, yeah?
Yeah, I own all their stuff on vinyl now.
Oh. Yeah, we got a big deal over here.
Yep, and I would buy it again.
And then Kyle, like, by proxy, we've covered this before, where you own this already because of Michelle. But is this something you would go out and purchase on your own if you didn't have Michelle's copy of it?
100%. And I think that I'm going to start doing something where if I find out that someone is perhaps maybe into vinyl or trying to get into vinyl, I'm just going to go and buy this record and gift it to them.
Yes. I have
and
done
be like,
that.
Here, you really want to get into vinyl? Here, start with this.
Yeah, I agree. And I will also say that, as you guys know, I'm big into vinyl myself, but I don't spend a lot of time doing the whole, everybody should listen to vinyl. But this record is a great example of why people should listen on vinyl.
Yes.
The digital versions don't sound bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it is an album that as soon as you drop the needle on this record and that piano comes in for the title track, it's one of those things where you're like, yes, this is why I'm listening on vinyl. It's fantastic
accurate
sound. Yeah. So Kyle, that's great. So I've given out their home address before. Kyle, I'm just going to go ahead and give out your personal phone number so anybody can text you. And what do you want them just to text you? What all caps free Lone Bellow and their address?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work.
All right, so you're going to want to send a text to 313. So just so everyone knows, for listening to the show, we should make that a Patreon benefit. If you join our Patreon for at least $1 a month, Kyle will send you a copy of the Lone Bellow, Then Came the Morning. We're going to lose
we're on one income.
We're going to lose like $19 a month on that at least, but it's going to be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
We always ask if you would recommend this record. I think it goes without saying at all that all three of us would recommend that anybody who is listening to this episode not only stop what you're doing and stream this album, but, actually I was going to say go buy it, but you don't have to because Kyle will buy it for you. But Michelle, I have to assume, yes, you would recommend this record to anyone and everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to start going door to door today.
Yeah. Me too. Well, apparently you guys need to run to the record store and buy a bunch of copies first, so Kyle can take them with him. And actually, I'll have to give you directions to the record store, Michelle.
Don't worry, I have a gift card.
You do. You do have a gift card. They'll buy you at least one copy of this album to give out. Kyle, yes, obviously, you would recommend this record to anyone.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And take into consideration, if you're a longtime listener to the show and that Kyle's not just rap, but you listen to a great deal of rap, and this album has absolutely no R&B or rap influence, and it moves you enough to where you're gushing about this album as much as you are. So you would, even to someone who listens exclusively to, say, hip-hop, rap, or R&B, you would still tell them there's something here for them to look into.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only this band is the complete package for anyone who likes this kind of music, or maybe they're not even sure that they like this kind of music. Pop this on or stream it, whatever, and you might be in for something that you didn't know that you liked. And Not only are they fantastic live, they're good people. They're super nice, super down to earth. Yeah,
they've all three put up with Michelle this whole time. So this whole time. So we always give the album a rating 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. We will start with Michelle. What is your rating on this record?
God, 8.5.
8.5. Why not that? I swear to God, if you bring up Call to War.
Call to War is the half.
I knew it.
And I just don't think that I would. I don't have a reason, but I just don't think it's a 10. I don't have a reason to think it's 10, and it would be a 9 except for the Call to War, and it's half because it's a great song live, but it's not live on this record. So
have you had a 10 yet? I don't recall.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the in-depth analysis as always, Michelle. It's an 8.5. A half for this song, and the other point, I don't know. I just love this album, but I don't know. Not a 10.
Kyle said he doesn't give 10s either. Why do I'm the only one who gets shit on this?
Yeah, because Kyle gives me a reason why for every one of his. Whereas
he said he doesn't know what a 10 is, but he'll know it when he hears it.
Right. Well, you just told me this is not a 10, and I'm not sure why.
I'm leaving room for error.
That's fair. There's a plus. There's a plus or minus
of room.
Yeah. That's a wide berth right there. Kyle, what is your rating on this record? 1 to 10, with 10 being the best.
I gave this a 9.
Right on. So very close.
For the exact reason as before is I don't know what I would rate a 10. I'm still trying to find that out or figure that out. So
yeah,
this album is absolutely fantastic. This band is fantastic.
Agreed on all points. Yes. For me, for all the reasons that I listed, this being a perfect sophomore record, it taking them up to the next level, there being absolutely no stinkers on this record, especially and including Call to War, and for the perfect sequencing, the way that it comes very close to capturing the essence of what they do as a whole. This is absolutely a 10 out of 10 record for me. Like, not in
dang.
Yeah, and not even. I told you, Michelle, when you picked this record, I texted you right back, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is going to have to be a 2-part episode, just because I have so many good things to say about this album.
Yeah, and
I knew when you picked it, I was like, well, that's a 10. Like, without even, and I haven't listened to this record in its entirety, probably for years, because we just go see the band so much that, like, I see the songs live all the time. So I knew before I even listened to it again straight through that it was going to be a 10. And then as I was listening to it and everything was hitting me as hard as it was about the track listing and about the vibe that's caught on the record and the pictures that can be painted in your mind and the fact that it does everything that a sophomore record is supposed to do, and it's indicative of what in the future, how their sound would continue to evolve from here. I like the whole time I was more or less listening to it, I was more or less just being like, I was right. This is a 10. Like I can find no reason.
Your suspicions.
Yes. I confirmed what I was thinking the whole time. So that is a look at the Lone Bellow. Then Came the Morning, the sophomore record from the band, and I couldn't be happier over this choice. If nothing else, I hope a lot of people that listen to the show who may have never even heard of this band hear this album. It's available on all streaming formats. If you listen to the show
and you haven't heard us say their name, then you're not actually listening to the show.
No, well, yeah, no, I know that. But what we have, though, is a lot of people who have told us that they will listen, even if they know an album that we do, they'll listen to it again. As a companion piece to this. But we do get a lot of people that say, wow, you guys cover a lot of music that I've never heard before. And so that's what I'm excited for. Like,
yes,
I'm excited.
I'm excited for the feedback.
Also, if you see tickets pop up in your area and this band is on the bill, go to the show.
Kyle will buy your tickets.
Go to the show. If you go to the show and you do not like it, go back to your house, hang up your coat, and stop going to concerts.
Yeah. And please please leave tickets for the rest of us to everything.
Yes, because
I thought he was going to offer a money back guarantee.
You're going to be like, what don't you understand about one income household?
I'm not to a place in life where I can buy your ticket from you if you don't like your experience. But if you go and you don't like it, then you maybe should stop going to shows. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's nothing to not like about a Lone Bellow show.
Yeah. If you go to a Lone Bellow show and you don't like it, then it turns out live music might not be your thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Even Michelle likes it, and live music is very much not her thing.
Shut the
Thank you for censoring yourself. Next week on the program, we are going to cover a topic that was requested of us quite some time ago, and we never got around to doing it. And so we are going to take care of that next week. And we are going to talk about the gloriousness that is the Fire Festival. Everybody, I'm sure, knows there was a Netflix doc and a Hulu doc. Michelle has committed to watching at least one of them. So that she can be informed on the Fire Festival. And I feel like she's going to come, because Kyle, you've seen both of those documentaries. I feel like Michelle's going to come to the episode with more questions about
Michelle will get to see firsthand how far some people are willing to go to get fresh water for people.
Yep. Well, we'll find out. Don't spoil the episode.
Oh, sorry, it's about Beegers.
So next week on the program, and that actually will serve, next week's episode is going to serve as our season finale. We will take a 2-week break after that, but hopefully you've enjoyed this episode and you will enjoy our Fire Festival discussion next week. Like we always say about this time, without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Koselecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Opening credits read by Stacey Robinson. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.